Senator from Iowa yield to a question.
I'm not very good at yielding, but I'll try what I can.
Thank you very much. First, thank you for coming to the floor to debate such an important issue as how to make the Senate work well as a deliberative body and how to make our country work well. But I was struck by a couple of things that you mentioned, and that is that you had stood strong fast against striking down the filibuster. And you noted how consistent you were, but you also criticized Democrats for changing position. But can you help my memory out on this? Because did you not vote to strike down the filibuster on Supreme Court nominations?
Yes, I did.
So you changed your position as well, you would concede, since previously you had opposed getting rid of the filibuster.
The answer is yes, but remember what I said, and I just said it, so you obviously heard me, that we warned in 2013 when I think all Republicans voted against reducing the 60 vote down for district court and circuit court judges so you could pack the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, that you'd regret that. And you have regretted it because Republicans were saying in 2017, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and we voted to reduce it then for a Supreme Court justice. And now I'm sure that from your point of view, you have a Supreme Court that's not very favorable to what you think a Supreme Court ought to be doing with the three people that Trump put on there. So that's where I'm coming from.
Well, I do appreciate your response, and it's so rare we actually have any sort of dialogue on the floor of the Senate. It's one of the things we've lost. I do recall in that moment that for over a year we had working groups trying to resolve the extraordinary new level of cloture motions on President Obama's nominations. It concluded in a meeting in the old Senate chamber where the agreement was reached to stop doing that. And then, as you point out, Mitch McConnell came to the floor and he said, it doesn't matter the quality of the individual who is nominated. I will not let any judge be considered for these three vacancies. That is a completely unprecedented new element that was brought in to bear on that particular conversation. So to just kind of illuminate some of the details that were left out. I was also struck by another thing you said, which is that the filibuster is not a relic of Jim Crow. And I was struck about that because from 1891 through 1965, so we are talking over 80 years, the only thing that was blocked in the U.S. Senate by filibuster was civil rights for Black Americans. Given that, wouldn't you say it's fair for us to say that the filibuster in that history was indeed a relic of Jim Crow?
You know who controlled the Senate during that period of time on the issue you brought up, and it's the Democrats, senators from the South. And remember that when the Civil Rights Act of 1965 was passed, that there was a higher percentage of Republicans than Democrats that voted for it. And the one person that made a difference in getting the Civil Rights Act passed was Senator Dirksen, the Republican leader. Now, I'm going to have to end this discussion with you but I want to say one thing. Why would you want to expand this precedent that's set by Democrats into legislation and weaken bipartisanship? That's where you got to leave it. It's a slippery slope. You may want to do it just for a Voting Rights Act, but it's going to go further.
Thank you for your responding to my questions. I appreciate that. Mr. President.
The senator from Oregon.
I think I'll start just by returning to the 1800s. And a senator from Massachusetts